anyone is lying. 100% of the time.
Just if someone is intentionally lying, that's it.
We're not sacrificing anyone. Not now, not ever.
I know I say this a lot about Donnie, but demon possession.
You heard it up top. We are back. We did another 10 episodes, and that means we're going to do another WHATCHA, where we talk about the stuff that we've been watching, playing, reading, whatever, here on Normies Like Us. With your hosts, this is Colin.
Just regular Mike.
And this is Jacob.
Wow,
Hello,
what up,
Normies.
boys? What up, Normies?
up?
Happy WHATCHA.
Ayo, bad boys.
Hey, yo, bad
we
boys.
out
A
here.
Remember when we used to say
throwback.
that all the
A
time?
classic.
A classic
Classic.
Normies Like Us phrase. But yeah, we're here to 31. Normally we do it on the 10s, but we did Black Panther, Wakanda Forever first, and then now we're going to be doing WHATCHAs forever. So again, it's to recap some of the stuff that maybe didn't require an entire episode, or some stuff that we didn't all watch together, but things we want to maybe recommend or that we've been getting down with. So be sure to hit us up, tweet us, write comments in the YouTube videos of what you've been getting down with and anything we should take a look at potentially ourselves. So, yeah.
We love that. But right now, let's just kind of dive in. And let me just say to you guys, WHATCHA.
Well,
Watcha.
WHATCHA. There's one thing that, I think everybody watches called the Superb Owl. There's a big Rihanna concert going on
Superb Owl,
yesterday.
Happy Superb Owl to you.
Did y'all watch that? And how did you think of that, I guess, before we dive deep into the WHATCHIs?
I'll let Colin go first.
I did watch that, Mike, and I guess I'll also say Happy Valentine's Day, because this is maybe our Valentine's Day episode. So let's get all the holidays.
This is our Valentine's Day. Yeah, Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Happy
is a
Superb
holiday.
Owl. Happy, yeah, of course it is, and Happy Valentine's.
And Single Awareness Day.
Yeah, sure. If you're sad, please don't say that or celebrate that. But I'll say, I thought it sucked. I thought the game sucked. I thought Rihanna sucked.
Really?
I kind of thought the commercial sucked. And the trailer that everybody's kind of excited about is a movie that I think morally sucks. So that's kind of where I'm at. But how about you, Jacob?
Hot takes. I haven't heard anyone say it sucked, because I thought it was like one of the best Super Bowls in years. I mean, 35-38 was the final score. That's a high scoring,
That was the
close
scripted
game.
score.
Yeah.
Well,
Close.
Well, we were talking about the script. So, Mike, I was watching with Mike at a friend's house who was a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So he was very happy. But we had a little party. We got some, chicken wings and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought it was a good game. It was back and forth. Two great offenses. Probably the two best teams in the NFL made it. So, I was happy. I thought she was fine. Like, it wasn't an amazing show. I don't think it was terrible. It was just kind of, I don't want to say mid, but maybe a little above mid for me.
That's the word that I use off pod when we were getting ready to record. I was like, it's kind of a mid show, but it did have the Smash Brothers stages.
Yeah,
which
she was
cool.
hanging out on a Smash Brothers arena.
Final destination, no items.
Yeah.
Master Hand was coming out. That's what was messing with her suspension the whole time.
She couldn't.
But Colin, you thought the game was bad. That's surprising to me, because I thought it was a lot of back and forth, slugfest.
Yeah.
It was a slug. It was just an offense-heavy slugfest. No defense played. I don't know.
There was some defense. I mean, there's the fumble for a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
It was like one punt, I think, right?
I think the Eagles maybe punted twice. Yeah, it was pretty.
But that's what people want to see. They want to see.
People want to see the
high-scoring
offense.
Slugfest.
They want to see a low-scoring.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen some bad Super Bowls. They're like 7-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bad Super Bowl to me.
Yeah, so it was competitive. I kind of wanted the Eagles, but really I didn't have a dog in the race, and it was high scoring. Couple bad calls, but overall a good game, I think.
Yeah, I'm just happy the Bengals didn't make it.
Oh no,
you're a hater.
Some holding calls, some questionable holding calls, some questionable holding calls when the Bengals played in the Super Bowl. Maybe I'm bitter. Maybe I'm bitter.
People love to complain about the refs. My take, and this was what I was saying yesterday, I don't think refs are biased for one team or another. I think they're just incompetent, and they're just bad at their job a lot of times, so things get missed. But I don't think they're favoring one team or the other, but they do have the power to kind of influence a game where, really swing the momentum of things.
The blind justice of idiocy. Okay.
Yeah, it's not malicious intent. It's pure utter incompetence. Correct. Yeah, I agree. But at least we're
Never-
competent
never
enough to
attribute to-
handle this show.
Yeah. Isn't there a quote like "Never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence"?
I love
Yeah.
Something like that.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now there is Jacob Evil.
That's right.
2023. Michael Scott.
Albert Einstein, Jake.
Oh,
Uh-huh. Great. All right, well, let's dive in proper then to the WHATCHA after the big game. We'll come in right after this with a proper episode for you listeners.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, talking to WHATCHA. We're going to be talking again, the stuff that we're kind of consuming, but we'll kick it off here, I think, with something we're all watching. One of the rare things where each normie is kind of paying attention to this, and maybe kind of the only must-see TV that's currently on. Let's go back to something we've only done an episode on. I'm shaking my head because Jacob disagreed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm laughing.
It's not the only one.
I'm excited to hear you say something else, but let's go back to The Last of Us.
Yeah. Last of Us, we're on, we just had episode 5 finish up. I'm not sure how many episodes are going to be in the season, but that came out Friday because
I think we're halfway. I think we're going to
I think
get
it's
10
9 episodes, maybe 10.
maybe not.
Okay.
Obviously, episode 3 was the big standout so far. I think kind of the self-contained episode that didn't really, well, it featured Joel and Ellie a little bit in the beginning, but it was sort of a story of some other people, but it just a really well told, side story of this world, I guess.
Yeah, and everybody had been raving about that episode. I think episode 4, obviously a little bit of a downer compared to the third episode, which is funny because the main characters were in it the whole time. That just shows how strong, that side story was. But then I think episode 5 was really good too. Again, the show has been consistently excellent. So it's slowing down a little bit, but I'm still pretty happy for what we're getting.
Let me check in with my 2 video game boys here who have played it. How is it holding up adaptation-wise?
It's pretty close. I mean, some things are taken straight out of the game, even, down to some lines and some whole conversations. Some things are changed a little bit, and then some things are kind of expanded upon. So like episode 3, there's the character of Bill, but we don't see, his lover, or whoever, I forget his name, but Frank, yes.
Correct.
Frank is already out of the picture by the time they meet Bill in the game, and you kind of find out through context clues what happened. They have a happier ending in the show, ironically, and so that's one big change. And then in the last episode, so we meet the characters of Henry and Sam, right? They're in the game, but the whole circumstances surrounding them is a little bit different. Like they meet them in Pittsburgh in the game, I think, instead of Kansas City. And also, Sam is not deaf in the game, so that's a new change for the show. Yeah,
and that's
wild.
Cool. And the actor is deaf, and all the crew was learning to sign so they could talk to the kid. It was a really cool behind the scenes with it too. So I think that's a cool change. And then it adds kind of depth to Henry and Sam's relationship with a protector. And in a world where sound is dangerous, this kid can't hear. It's an interesting kind of way to contextualize survival, right? So
yeah,
good change.
Obviously, a very sad ending there if you haven't seen it.
Played it.
But
then Kathleen, let's say, she doesn't exist in the game at all. Is kind of the leader of the resistance force.
Melanie Lisnicki character.
Melanie Linsky.
That's
so
an original character.
The whole Kansas City, revolution or whatever. That's all added for the show. Which, I told you guys my hot take about. I thought last episode was good, but my take is that Melanie Linsky, she did nothing wrong. Okay, she was just written by a Gen X centrist, lib.
Okay.
But,
you said something off podcast that I'm not aware of because I did not watch Chernobyl, but you sort of called out Craig Mazin for having these sort of bad guys on both side politics. And Jacob, I think that's worth saying because that is a thing to alarm people like me about if it's a recurring theme that he's using. I don't know.
I think he has a very, like I said, Gen X centrist kind of take where he's sort of a center left liberal, but he kind of does the both sidesism. So
the Aaron Sorkin thing.
Yeah. Like with this Kansas City thing. So basically we find out the KC Fedra was like the worst. Like they just turned into this fascist regime where they were like murdering and raping and torturing people and just doing like really monstrous stuff. Then we have these revolutionaries that take over the city, but they also do bad things, right? So the kind of the theme of it is that, revolutionaries can be just as bad as the oppressive regimes that they overthrow. I would
It's a little
argue,
Animal Farm. You become that which you try to
Yeah.
destroy.
Yes, but what
you
did
know?
she really do that was bad? She executed collaborators. I mean, it's a harsh world out there, babe. We got, fungi zombies running around.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to execute the
I
collaborators.
mean,
Like
the
they
most
shouldn't have
dangerous-
collaborated with the fascists.
Yeah,
the
the most
word
dangerous-
collaborators.
I mean, in The Walking Dead, it's always the most dangerous thing isn't the monsters, it's the people who could betray you.
Right.
So you gotta take no chances. It's a harsh world. I don't know where I land. I don't think it's crazy,
morally
egregious, but
gray
yeah.
world.
Yeah.
But I just think that she's sort of written as a bad guy and saying like, oh, this person is bad. Obviously, she's obsessed with this vendetta that she has against Henry for turning in her brother, who was the leader of the resistance movement. And even Henry admits, like, yeah, I collaborated with these fascists, but I had to because I was trying to get this medicine for my brother. So then you weigh, well, is one little kid more important than the leader of a resistant movement? That's where you get into the
that ties
morally
into
gray.
Joel's entire thing. Is Ellie worth more than everything? It's a microcosm.
And that might be tied up
Yeah.
by the end of the show. So
who knows?
Yes.
But I see what you're saying. Be a little harder on the fascists, please.
I just don't like the centrist,
that's fine.
Spineless.
I see it as
say.
the cycle of abuse. She lost someone and wants to get someone like they were abused. It's the cycle of trauma that's happening. But anyway,
can I say real quick, the strength I think this show has over The Walking Dead is these time jumps, which not the first time we've talked about time jumps on this podcast. It was something we kind of had to get used to with Game of Dragons, of course. In this new HBO Prestige show, it's interesting they're also using them. And to have the entire third episode jumping around in time, you're getting this expanded love story Jacob sort of talked about that really fleshes out a story. But like what it actually kind of accomplishes in The Last of Us, which I think is really interesting opposed to Game of Dragons, is that you're seeing them live through trauma is the main thing.
Yeah.
And that you understand why these people are who they are in both circumstances, who they were beforehand and who they were afterwards. And again, the third episode does that really well by telling one sort of couple's story a long time. But we've sort of also need to kind of acknowledge that like the interesting thing about that is to jump from the idyllic paradise that's almost selfish that Bill and Frank have, that yes, other people did try to take from them, but that they have, versus 20 years under what are essentially warlords. I mean, parts of the government have transformed into fiefdoms. I mean, they've become sort of like mini states of control where she says, we lived through 20 years of rape and murder. I mean, we became, you can't come out clean from that, right? The boy says at one point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, to say that, revolutions of this kind never have violence or any kind of bad side effects.
Of course.
We don't know what these collaborators did. They're probably directly responsible for people's imprisonment and death.
Right. Same way Henry was directly responsible for something, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lesson Joel learns. He is disgusted by a collaborator at the start. And at the end, he's asking the kid to come with them, essentially. It's like, Yeah.
You still can't even, did Henry do the right thing? It's kind of, again, morally gray, but
I don't know.
It's just a depressing show. It's like every situation they run into is more sadder than the next one.
It's never going to take the happy route out. Yes, you're right.
No, it's a very dark show, but it's reinforcing the theme that Joel has and the arc that Joel has of, in the beginning, we see him lose his daughter. Then he's charged with taking care of this girl, and he doesn't want to get attached at first because he's like, if I get attached, I'll just get hurt again, blah, blah, blah. Over time, he grows to, kind of become a father figure to her, but it's something that he has to do gradually. And so that's what I like about the third episode. People say like, oh, it had nothing to do with the main story. That's not true. It's reinforcing that theme of find someone you care about enough to protect. And that's like your life mission.
And even seeing who
world.
Joel is in those scenes that he shares with Bill, Nick Offerman's character, he's so different than the one we know now. Even again, it's so much about time. And can I just say one last thing, because we've said so much about the 9/11, the post 9/11 world of it all, that this show distinctly seems to capture, and that's like the other element that just truly tickles my heart. Of like 2002 and 2003 were like when I was forming my like most core memories. And this show Like, again, the things and themes it's hitting. Like,
Mhm.
in 1998, like, the Protection of Marriage Act was passed by a bunch of Republicans that, like, reinforced that gay people couldn't get married. So, like,
Right.
Right.
the world Bill and Frank are, like, creating for themselves is, like, truly finding, like, kindness and happiness themselves. And, like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
other minor things that, like, when Ellie's like, you went up in one of those planes, what was that like? Like, when Joel says it was annoying, he's talking about 9/11 just happened. Like,
Right.
the
New
2001 of it
security
all.
measures at the airports.
Yeah.
And
If
stuff.
he, Jacob, if he even got to fly again after that, and
Yeah.
then you have a character like Bill where people go like, this isn't realistic, this isn't right at all. And I want to remind everyone, a distinct thing that happened to us, people our age group, 2 events that I will say created people like Bill.
Mhm.
Y2K not happening, which
Mm.
blew people's mind to be like, shit, why did I buy all this stuff? Well, I guess I look like a fool.
Right.
To a couple years later, 9/11, making people go, no, the government's an inside job. It is smart that I had all this stuff.
You're right.
Popularized doomsday prep culture
Oh, yeah.
in a way that hadn't been mainstream since the Cold War of the 80s and stuff.
Yeah.
And to
this
think
kind of
that
mass
any of these,
fear.
doomsday prepper libertarian types wouldn't be closeted homosexuals that just
Like-
repressed their feelings for 40 years. That's
But,
not hard
like,
to believe at all.
And no, but Jacob, like the minor details that they've woven in that, like, it's his mom's house. You get the idea that, like, maybe he was this closeted guy who, like, took care of his mom his whole life, Jacob, and
Yeah.
played this fucking piano and, like,
Yeah.
doesn't want to hear this song because maybe it has difficult memories attached to him. And again, the whole theme of the fucking episode is that, like, all your difficult memories you can turn into beautiful ones if you have someone to spend your life with. Like, I've watched
Yeah.
it so many
It's
times.
like
I
the
cried
most
so much.
hopeful
Essentially,
we're gonna get, I think.
the
Beautiful.
world
It's
had to
beautiful,
end
Mike.
for
Mhm.
him to truly live.
Oh,
Oh my God. Oh
Jacob.
my
oh,
God.
Jacob.
That's it. We
it's
can't.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Incredible.
And,
Find someone to
you know,
love in the end of the world. Yeah.
just twist on zombie stuff too. I'll just say real quick, the end of the 5th episode, I thought Ellie was saving that kid with her blood, and I was like, this is a crazy twist I've never seen before in a zombie thing. This is
Yeah.
awesome. And then Jacob, I mean, it always just takes the most depressing
Gut punch.
instead.
No,
So
for
you're
me,
just
it's like-
oh,
It was a crazy reveal. I mean, their end is exactly the same in the game, but
oh.
Yeah.
to do that and then it's almost like it's
But
like
they made
just
me
a
think they might
desperate
not.
thing that like, oh, this could work, but she kind of knows that like he's gonna turn.
But him
Uh,
asking questions like, "Do you think I'll still be the same? Like, do you think I'll be
Oh,
inside
yeah.
and stuff?"
Fucking
It's
dark.
just like,
Yeah.
I can't even. You can't be thinking about this stuff, and you're a kid. I certainly can't be thinking
And
about.
then to
this
think
stuff.
about Henry turned in the leader of the resistance to save his brother, who then died anyway because of the circumstances of getting chased out of town, getting attacked by the mob of zombies. So it was all for fucking nothing.
Well,
The
same
Melanie
thing with-
Linsky character died.
Mhm.
A bunch of the resistance people died.
or nothing.
Henry and Sam died, and
No
none
one
of it,
learned a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And then
mean,
Ellie
'cause-
and Joel just have to walk away and just be like, "Well, on to the next stage."
and even
you
Ellie's
know?
got to be like, come on, let's go, Joel. Like Joel's being reflective now too. Like he's seen a lot, but that's still traumatic for him. But even like Ellie's the one who kind of has to, at the end of the episode, hey, we got to keep moving, man. And
Yeah,
it's-
she's kind of getting hardened by her experiences and being like, "What's it even fucking matter anymore?"
yeah.
Yeah, it's a dark show, man.
That's sad. It's what a great show. But
I've
it's
started
heavy.
recommending it to people who don't play video games because
Yeah.
I just think it's so good.
Oh yeah, I don't
Yep.
think you need to play, play video games at all to just enjoy the story. I mean, it's like it's like prestige Walking Dead, right? That's essentially what it is.
Yeah. It's great. And then, so Valentine's Day, pop on episode 3, get a bottle of wine, with your loved one.
A
significant other.
Beaujolais to
Yeah.
pair with some rabbit, Mike.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God.
Throw
Yes.
some strawberries.
You don't seem like the type, Mike.
Mhm.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I could be now, and I'll play piano.
Who's the
great.
girl? There was no girl.
There was
I
no
know.
girl.
That's just
Uh,
yeah, that's good, right?
Beautiful. All right. That's The Last of Us. We love it. I hope
Anyways.
you love it.
Yeah.
We'll do more on it once it wraps up at the end of the season, I'm sure.
Well,
But yeah,
if we're
Jacob.
sticking with TV for a minute.
TV,
here,
let's
you
go.
said this is much watch TV. I would say another show that I'm about to talk about. It's must watch TV, I think, for me, anyways. But I'm talking about Poker Face, the Ryan Johnson show, Natasha Lyonne. It's on Peacock. Have you guys checked this out at all?
Incredibly enjoyable. I don't think must-see TV, but yes,
Well, maybe not must see, but
Depends on how much you like Ryan Johnson.
yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you why I like the show. Because,
And I haven't seen it yet, to be fair.
Yeah,
But
so if you
I
don't know
forgot
what
my
the show
Peacock
is-
login. But I will.
Yeah. So this show is, it's a, like I said, Ryan Johnson and other people write some of the episodes. He doesn't directly, I think, write each episode, but you get a lot of guest directors and stuff in there. It's a procedural kind of case of the week episode, but it's not a whodunit. It's how catch 'em, right, Colin? So like
I
in
say that
Columbo-
is what they say. I say how do it.
how do it. So basically, each episode starts with the murder, right? There's some kind of crazy murder scenario, and then Natasha Lyonne, the main character, has to figure out how it was done, and to make a case for the why the guilty person did it. Essentially, so she plays a character named Charlie Kale, I think, who her thing is that she is like a human lie detector. She can always tell when someone's lying intentionally. But she
Bullshit.
can't always figure out why they're lying or what the truth was. So that's kind of where the mystery comes in.
Right.
But it's a lot like Columbo. If you've ever seen Columbo, they always know the murder beforehand. He's got to figure out how it was done. That's why it's called a how catch 'em. But what I like about it, it's a throwback to the age of TV when we had these episode of the week type stories. I mean, they still do, they have Law and Order, CSI, those kind of things. But this is more like Quantum Leap or Incredible Hulk, where you just, you go from situation to situation. Each one is a self-contained story within an hour. Natasha Lyonne's the only kind of reoccurring character. She's the Columbo of the show. She's kind of on. There's an overarching story where she's on the run from these casino people, blah blah blah. But she's just traveling around, living out of her car, and she just solves murders essentially.
Okay. And it's like
She has to work jobs, Mike, where you can't have any ID or paper trail. So she's very often, an usher at a theater, working in a cafeteria, a restaurant, a bar.
Yeah, she's living off the
Okay.
grid because if there's any mention of her on the grid, they'll find her in like 4 hours because she
Jack
saw some
Bauer's
shit that
on
she
it.
shouldn't have seen. Yeah.
Right, the casino people are after her. I like the concept, and I like, I enjoyed Glass Onion. We talked about that briefly a while ago. So it's like a show that's kind of got that vibe of Ryan Johnson's mystery sensibilities. I like the idea of that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, this could even be, the same, like, I would love to see a crossover of Benoit Blanc and Charlie Kale. at
wow.
one point. But yeah, it's kind of set in the same universe almost, where it's kind of weird. She's like cursed because these weird murders seem to just be following her around.
How she's
but-
tied to each episode is always a goddamn delight.
Yes,
Nice.
yes. It's always like each episode is like just a really well written short film that's like an hour long, because each one has a totally different cast of guest stars, and they get some big names for some of these episodes, and it just kind of allows these different stars that wouldn't normally be doing TV just to do an episode and play this weird character. It's a lot of fun, and it's really well written. I think I like it better than Glass Onion.
Can I stop you right there, Jacob? So
Yeah.
here's the kind of the only thing I want to say about the entire show, the sort of Ryan Johnson verse that's popping up and sort of propagating now that he's gotten to become sort of this auteur figure where it's like, yeah, I can put my name on stuff and it gets made, and it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
I think this show, in the line of Glass Onion and Knives Out, cements that Ryan Johnson is a better writer than Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan, who are two quote unquote writer auteurs who make their own stuff, because he is able to make stuff in the modern world and use stuff that includes cell phones, which confounds these old men who literally say, I can't write modern plots. Like, what will I do if somebody can Google something? That's over for me. Batista gets a Google alert in Glass Onion. That is a plot point for the film.
Well,
he literally leans into it. And in the second episode that he writes of Poker Face, a young man is a subway artist, Mike. He's a veteran from the military. This has nothing to do with like the plot. This is just character stuff. And he likes to make TikTok videos of himself giving motivational speeches and making Subway sandwiches. That is that I would never think to write that because I'm just not smart enough to realize what current culture is. And I think a good writer dictates what the culture is, sure, but a great writer can stay on top of the pulse of culture, right with it while dictating where it goes. And I think that's where he separates himself. But please rebuttal away, sir.
No rebuttal really, but he's almost too obsessed with like current.
You call him the most
climate.
online, yes. Like
he's what I would call
director,
too online, where he's on Twitter all day. He knows all about these different Twitter discourses that just.
It's an interesting, but it's almost like that's his Charlie Cale ability, Jacob, that he can like see through what people are using to communicate in certain ways.
Glass Onion is essentially a movie about how he thinks Elon Musk is an idiot, which is very funny.
Needs to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is he understands the world we're living in today. And Natasha Lyonne, I think, is a delight in this show. You know, this was handwritten for her. Like, this show wouldn't have been made if she wasn't interested, is what he said, essentially.
It's interesting that they say that, but Maya Rudolph is a producer on the show. I almost wonder.
Maybe she just liked the idea, and
I don't
know, but
or has an overall deal with Peacock, quote unquote, which is, would you say, the barrier of entry, Jacob, to this show, watching it on Peacock?
Could be, yeah, if you don't have Peacock. But you know what? There's a lot of good stuff on Peacock. I use my sister's account, and there's some good stuff on there. Tar, you can watch the movie Tar.
That's right.
But Natasha Lyonne, she's driving around in the car, she's living off the grid, so that gives her a reason not to use social media and cell phones, that kind of thing. She couldn't, or she'll get caught. So we kind of see the sort of the seedy underside of America, where she's, stopping in these like small towns, and you just see a different side of America. And I think it's really well written. This could go on 10 seasons, like Columbo or Murder, She Wrote or something.
Right.
And,
yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
No, you guys are selling me on it.
You like Quantum Leap? I know you're a big Quantum Leap fan.
I love Quantum Leap.
I know there's a new Quantum Leap, but
not as big a fan. That's more like 24.
Yeah.
They got 5 guys in a chair, and he's always, "What do I do? Let me look it up."
Well, that's back to Jacob's other love.
Yeah.
Let me do a quick one because I'm going to segue to Mike here.
Oh, okay.
Since watching that Last of Us episode, I've kind of become obsessed with 50-year-old Australian actor Murray Bartlett, who plays Frank in that episode. I don't know why, but I cannot stop watching content with him.
Season 1.
I did the first season of White Lotus, which got him the Emmy, which seems to have kicked off his prestige TV cameo career, Jacob, which God bless him. And since then, I've done that Chippendales show. I do not recommend it. I think it's pretty bad. Now, kind of my last pick that I could do is this show Looking, which was this big HBO prestige show that is about young gay men sort of like figuring out their way in the world, where he plays the co-lead. Murray Bartlett plays the quote-unquote older gay man at like 35 at that point, so good for him being younger. Also, he dates Scott Bakula, your guys' Captain Archer. Is that what he is,
and
right?
Quantum Leap.
And he's like, and back to Quantum Leap. But he's sort of like the older gay guy. But the young gay lead is Jonathan Groff, Mike, who, of course, is the current lead in M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin.
Right. Yeah, that was a good segue because I did watch that.
Kind of the joke about Murray Bartlett is that he gets on all these shows just to play a different kind of gay guy each time. He's a very different character in White Lotus than he is in Last of Us. But
and then in Chippendale, he plays a guy who was in a straight relationship until realizing he was gay. And I was telling my dad about it. And he was like, "What character does he play in it?" I said, "Well, would you guess he's a gay guy?"
Yeah, but he's great in White Lotus season 1. Yeah. He's really the standout of that season.
He's amazing.
If you haven't checked out White Lotus, I think it's a pretty good show. It's not like, I don't think it's like as good as like Succession, another show I really like. But it's written by Mike White. Mike School of Rock, Ned Schneebly, did some other stuff. Yeah, it's a good show. Murray Bartlett's great, and I haven't checked out Looking, but I'll check it out.
But yeah, to get to the Knock at the Cabin after all those connections, that was brilliant, Colin. We got the 6 degrees of separation to.
That's right.
The Last of Us. But Knock at the Cabin, I did watch it. It was just kind of an impulse. I hadn't even seen a full trailer. I just like to see Batista doing more acting. So
This is great.
yeah, so I went in blind. I hadn't heard of the short story or the book or anything. I just went in
You
blind.
put on your
M. Night
tiniest
Shyamalan.
pair of glasses. You went and saw his
Got my
tiny
smallest glasses. Well, that's my biggest criticism, really, is they put normal size glasses on them. The movie would have been a 10 out of 10 if the glasses were like 30% the size that they are. But that aside,
Blade Runner 2049 glasses, where they're
those are the only ones he's allowed to have.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's what got him the role. M. Night saw Blade Runner. He didn't even know about wrestling, but he's like, that's the guy who can be in my movie. I need a big guy who can act, you know? Like, so there you go.
Yeah, I think Batista's career, if you compare him to other wrestler turned actors, he's my favorite wrestler turned actor. And I think he's,
This is not even a
he's
question.
going out of his way to do different roles, not try to do only action movies or only play himself like The Rock or something in every movie. But he's trying different things. He wants to be known as like a real actor. And he's like, I'd love to do rom-coms. Like if someone made a rom-com for me, like I guess I'm not
John Cena's done those.
good looking enough to do
Okay.
rom-coms.
Name an actress you would put in a Batista rom-com with him.
I don't know. That's a good question. Like how
Tar.
old is he?
It's Lydia Tarr and Batista.
Character Lydia Tarr, who is a lesbian. Yes.
What a rom-com. It's somebody needs a
That's
wedding
the
date and they have to
plot,
pretend.
Jacob.
That's
Of course,
the plot.
of course.
They have to facade it. Yeah.
Yeah, love Batista.
But yeah, he's
Big
great, but I
fan.
can't really spoil anything because it's a Shyamalan movie. I don't think it's the highest highs. I think it's fine. I think Batista really carries the movie on his back. I mean,
Is it better than Old? That's really.
I didn't
the
see
only
Old,
question.
so I can't say, but I would venture to
Old?
guess yes.
Mike, I will say I saw this as well.
Oh,
Maybe on the high seas, wink, wink.
yeah.
And
trip.
took a boat trip to see
You're on
it.
a boat.
Wink, wink.
That's cool.
And enjoyed it very much, I gotta say. I thought it was a very nice return to form for M. Night. And Jacob, I will say it was better than Old.
Oh, there we go.
Interesting. I
Cinematography
don't know
is
how you
great
can
too.
do better than that. But and you got Rupert Grint in there, right? Ron
Yeah, doing an American accent.
Weasley.
Doing a Boston accent.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a beer.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Ron?
It's definitely enjoyable. I just don't think it has a ton of rewatch value. Like once
Yeah.
you've seen it once, it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like The Sixth Sense where you
does it
can
have
go
a
back and
crazy
be like,
twist?
ooh,
And is
Now,
M. Night?
would you believe
does
that
M.
it
Night have a
does?
cameo?
And would you believe M. Night
that he
is in
does.
the movie?
I
Yeah.
would believe that. Yeah.
Well, seeing is believing.
You're
So go
right.
check it out if you want.
Here's what I want to say.
Mhm.
The man has been self-financing his film since his quote-unquote comeback, which was The Visit, where he literally put a lien or refinanced on his mansion in Philadelphia, his home of Philly, where he, of course, shoots everything,
Mm-hmm.
to put up as collateral against the studio paying for like the other 50%. So he's gotten away with kind of like making small movies that don't have to have huge return because it's kind of mostly going to him. And he's kind of gotten a little more buzz of people being like, yes, he's kind of back. Glass,
Well,
he's had some shakes since then. But just real quick, Jacob, these last two, this one and Old, were part of a 2-picture deal with Universal that is now done. And I'm very curious what the future holds for our man M. Night. So
he's
please.
had a very interesting career where he kind of
Very.
started here, went down in the
Spielberg
valley
of his day.
come back a
Truly,
little
people
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
you are the new Spielberg. And he was like,
And if-
I'm the Wonder Kid.
for a while. If you looked at his movies chronologically, each one had like a worse rating. So it was like, Sixth Sense or Signs. I forget. Sixth Sense, Signs, Untouchable, Unbreakable. Pretty good. Then you had
I love
what was it
all
there? Lady in
those.
the Water. Then you
Yeah.
had the dip where it was like The Happening,
The Village.
Avatar, The Last
I mean,
Airbender,
here's the
Village.
thing, Jacob.
Yeah.
Do people even
After Earth.
remember Avatar: The Last Airbender? Is it
Yes.
almost getting lucky that the James Cameron films exist, that the SEO Avatar movie live action is like being wiped away, basically?
Right. Well, people still really like that show too.
The
so they
fans of
want,
the
like,
show
a
will
good
never
adaptation.
forget, but it is falling out of the search history.
But After Earth, starring Will and Jaden
Oh
Smith,
my God!
he made
After
some real
Earth.
stinkers there. Yeah.
That was the break before The Visit. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the end where it was like, am I done forever?
I think it was
But
The
what'd you-
Happening, Avatar and After Earth like back to back to back. There was like,
The
oh,
Village
this guy's
was poor
done.
too.
Yeah,
But what
The
you
Village
guys
was like
have to
starting
remember,
down.
again, I just said it, Wonder Kid. So
Yeah.
he at 25 he was making his first movies. Guys, he's only 50 now. Like he has a life to have a career, and
So
I
he's
really
dipped and
wonder what
bounced
it'll
back.
be.
I didn't
Is
think
this
Old
a
was
bounce
great.
back?
I thought
think
Old
it's-
was kind of a fun watch. And he's doing some interesting, like he still has interesting like framing and cinematography. Like he's still storyboards the shit out of his movies because that's what
Yes,
he was known for, of like having
yes,
these very
that's what he loves.
interesting visuals. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be spoiling the plot or anything, but based on the trailer, a lot of this movie takes place in a cabin, and even when actions are happening outside of the cabin, the camera never goes there. Like it'll pan,
Yes,
like you'll
yes.
never see. You're experiencing it from the perspective of the characters who are still inside, and it is really clever the way it's shot, and I think that's one of its strengths. Really, is some of the.
And Mike, as a young man who was almost a priest, whose first film, Praying with Anger, is like a film about exploring religion and God and stuff, he's still tackling those themes that are super interesting.
That's
Nice.
true. Huh, I didn't make that
Gibson.
connection. Yeah, no, and it's an interesting exercise in that kind of thought process. So yeah, I'd say it's good.
He's reading like beach books or like comics. That's what Old was. This was called Cabin at the End of the World. And it just seems like he goes like, well, fuck the whole plot of them. I'll rewrite it completely and kind of explore what I want to do. So like if that's kind of what he does for the rest of it,
Puts a
I don't
spin on
know.
stuff. I'm with it. Like I would again, it's like Glass Onion was on Netflix. I would watch this like instantly if it was streaming. Like I don't know if
Yes.
it warrants the trip to the theater. I think it's very good, and I don't mean to like sorry M Night. Like I could watch this
Yeah.
at home and have enjoyed it probably more, and I would have saved some money. But I think it's a good movie.
If this was the HBO streaming or whatever, it would be getting the Malignant treatment, Mike. People would be memeing certain scenes of this, being like, can you
good
believe?
news.
Yep.
You can actually watch Old on HBO. So if you haven't seen that,
well, now I can
that's a streamer right there. Yeah.
dial it back. Great.
I don't know that you need to. I don't know that anyone needs to.
It's a beach that makes you old, Colin. What's not to like?
I know. I'm on that beach right now. I'm very scared.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all are.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
I'm definitely gonna check that out when it hits streaming for sure.
Yeah.
But,
well, no, I don't want to think about a beach that makes you old. I want to think of maybe the times of youth. When I was younger and things were easier. And a franchise that always does that for me is the Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
there
We've
we
done
go.
episodes on them. I'm a big fan. My main recommendation, it's a little bit older show. It's the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's the Nickelodeon
was that on?
reboot. It's
That's the Nick
it's on
one,
Netflix and it's on
like, what years was
Paramount,
that
maybe.
coming out though?
to 2018 to 2020. It's only 2 seasons, I think.
Oh,
The second season got gutted. It got
Is that
really
a cool art style or?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Here's the premise of this show, Rise.
pitch.
We're all familiar with the Ninja Turtles. Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael is cool
Hold
but
on.
rude, and
Hold on.
Michelangelo
Well,
is a party dude, right?
oh, okay.
So that's our typical archetype. Every iteration of the Ninja Turtles has kind of been that thing. Leonardo's the leader, Raphael's grumpy, Donatello's like a nerd, and then Mikey's, the party guy. In this one, they've completely flipped the dynamic of all the turtles, where Raphael is the leader, and he's very soft-spoken and like caring. And then Michelangelo's really kind of sensitive. He's the younger brother. He's like still wild, but he's like trying to keep the family together. He's really sensitive. He's got a big heart. And then Leonardo, he doesn't take anything seriously. He's just really cocky. He's not the leader, but he just thinks he's the best, but he's constantly taking risks and like putting them in dangerous situations. And Raphael is trying to guide him to like, hey man, like let's be serious. And then Donnie's like super sarcastic and full of himself. And like, he's like a super genius and he knows it. So he's really like confident.
They changed all the personalities.
Yeah. And
Like
a lot of people
Donatello
hated
sounds
it.
like Michelangelo, and then Raph sounds like the new Leonardo, basically. So that's interesting.
So it's wild, and they gave him different weapons, and everyone was like, "This is stupid. I want the same turtles.
Different
this is
weapons?
stupid." They get magic weapons, but here's the thing:
Mike,
it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Trust me, it's the best. It has the best art style. It has the best animation. It has some of the best character work. And we got Ben Schwartz as Leonardo. We get Sonic, out here, goofing and gaffing. It's like a lot of fun. And in this version, they get magic weapons that give them powers. So there's a little bit of superpower anime. It's more anime like inspired, like the
transform.
action. There's like a stand, like magical energy, and but it's really good character work, and they finished it with a movie. So they cut the second season, and then they did a movie to wrap everything up. And the Krang are in there. John Cena's a villain in the TV show. They have gay dads. It's crazy.
What?
It's crazy.
There's 2 splinters?
Well, Splinter was a human whose DNA was made by the John Cena villain combined with the Turtles. So the Turtles were made with Splinter's human DNA. He was a kung fu martial arts actor, right? So the Turtles are related to Splinter by his DNA being put into Turtles, and then that guy made them. So there's an arc
is John
where
Cena the Shredder?
he's not Shredder. He's Baron Draxon. He's basically, he wears the evil armor at some point. The Shredder is an evil spirit that manifests things. But there's the guy making mutants, and that's John Cena. So then there's a whole arc where they're like, he might have been evil, but he's kind of our dad too. And Michelangelo's trying to get the family to like accept him, and they end up with 2 dads at one point. It's wild.
Sure.
Wow.
That's important to me.
It's extremely heartfelt. It's extremely good animation. It's different from the Turtles we know, and I think that's a good thing. Look at it as a what-if universe. If we can handle the Spider-Verse, you can handle Rise of the TMNT, and I will say, please give it some love. That's it. That's all.
Check it
That's my
out.
pitch.
And I think they have done that where the Turtles have crossed worlds. But let me ask you this. Between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rise, is that what it's called?
Yes, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Rise
Turtles.
of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Cobra Kai. Would you say most of the content you watch and recommend for this podcast is martial arts based?
I think yes. At least
Kai
the things
season
that I think a lot of people
Or
are
Star
sleeping
Trek.
on.
Star Trek or martial arts.
Yeah, Star Trek and martial arts generally, because Star Trek's what I was into as an adult, but as a youth, it was all martial arts. Power Rangers, Karate Kid, Ninja Turtles, and we're still doing it. So watch this show. It's fun, and it has the best fight scenes of any Turtles show. It rivals like Kill la Kill. It rivals like Naruto. It has sick fights.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not kidding. It's very good. Anyway, that's my rant.
Well, there you go. Before we wrap up the
Yes,
what
that's
you're
pretty much
watching
all I
section
got.
of this, I just want to ask you. So we mentioned the Super Bowl. There were some trailers and things that came out
Yeah, good
for
call.
the Super Bowl. Did you guys check any of these out? We had the Flash trailer. We had Guardians 3, Fast X.
Jacob, I assume I don't know
you
if
want to talk about Fast X.
I truly have stories in that my father is currently watching all the Fast and the Furious movies and will
Oh my
text me
God.
things like, "Who is this character?" I'll be like, "You're not watching them in the right order." Jacob,
Yeah.
I assume at some point when we covered the Flash, we will save all the what is going on in the DC universe James Gunn talk, or like now is that a good idea, or like it's I feel like it's way too much.
That's wild, yeah.
yeah.
Well, they have the next several years planned out, and he's announced like a bunch of projects that
yeah.
definitely sounds interesting to me. When does the Flash movie come out? Maybe we should
March.
talk about that.
Or no, I'm
March.
sorry, April maybe.
April.
That's probably a good time to kind of go over the rest of the plans, and we'll kind of see a trajectory at that point.
Yeah.
But
James Gunn could be dead by that point, Mike. We have no idea.
anything could happen. We could have
In this trailer, of course,
fungus
we
zombies.
had-
Yeah.
We saw Batfleck. We saw Michael Keaton
Bat-
God,
Keep Bat.
I
We
just
saw
can't even.
Zod. We saw General
Supergirl.
Zod,
We saw
Supergirl.
2 flashes.
Two
Yeah.
flashes. All I'm gonna say is the show did did all this already. So we already had the whole, obviously this is the Flash's backstory, like the Reverse Flash like killed his mom back in time, but I know all that because I watched the show already. But you know, I'm waiting to see how it turns out. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be bad, but I don't know. Looks interesting.
It looks interesting as far as a DC thing. I never watched Batman, Superman, or any of those, so I watched the Snyder Cut, and that was it. So I don't know. That's not God's gift to cinema, the Snyder Cut, by the way. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank
they're
you.
doing Flashpoint Paradox.
Well, hold
which is
on real quick.
Flash's
Hold on real
biggest-
quick.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
Mike, who on this podcast is like, I don't know any comic books. You gave your history, Carnage,
2 comic
small
books
things
only.
like that.
And 1 Sonic
you know
book.
Do you know what the Flashpoint paradox is?
I do not know the arc. I think I could, through
Okay.
cultural osmosis, suss out it has something to do with timelines and time travel, but
Well,
I
essentially
don't
the
really know
idea
it.
is
But
that
just to say to set up what Jacob's about to tell you,
yeah,
basically the Flash as a character has existed since like the 1950s when like Carmine Infantino was like he run a fast and they're like, oh,
And
the
he had
Flash,
the little
that's
boots.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Like
familiar
his
with
little
the
winged
concept
hat
of
and all
the
that
Speed
stuff.
Yeah.
Force?
But Jacob, all this history has changed. All the Speed Force and stuff, that's 70s, that's 80s. There's so much history and stuff with the Flash. Then in 2008, there was one storyline called Flashpoint. And since then, everything Flash has been like, what if we do Flashpoint? Now, Jacob,
Yeah.
tell us what Flashpoint is.
Okay.
Well, essentially, first you need to know that the Flash can run so fast that he can actually run through time. He can run back in time if he wants to. There's also this concept of the Speed Force, which is that this force that he creates when he runs fast that if you watch the show, can pretty much do anything. They can just explain it as the Speed Force.
Cool.
It's a lot like the Force from Star Wars, but it's speedy.
That's not how Speed Force works.
That's not how the Speed Force works.
Anyway.
But Flashpoint essentially, so you know that he can travel time. His biggest nemesis, the Reverse Flash, which is a yellow version of the Flash, essentially.
Great name.
Gotta love comics.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's his arch nemesis. He goes back in time, kills Barry's mom, and frames his dad for her murder, putting his dad in jail. The Flash's whole thing now is he's like trying to prove his dad's innocence because he knows that his dad didn't kill his mom. That's a
Right.
thing that he's lived with for a long time. He grew up without his mom because this happened when he was a little kid. So eventually he decides, I'm going to go back in time and save my mom.
I'm gonna
But
fix my mistakes.
Yeah. But as you know, if you go back in time and mess with stuff, it can have weird repercussions. So essentially he goes back, saves his mom, but then the whole world is different in all these different kinds of ways.
Right.
Now,
Butterfly effect.
what that means in the comic book they're adapting, Mike, and they've pulled this trick about 1,000 times now, but it goes from there used to be Batman, the Flash worked with Batman. Now in this new world, it's not Bruce Wayne. It's Thomas Wayne. It's his dad. And he's crazy.
Right.
He dresses up like Batman and he uses guns and he's a maniac.
Oh, heck
And
yeah.
Now, what they want to do in
Bruce
this
Wayne's
universe,
mom was the Joker. In that
yes,
universe
which is
as well.
awesome, and it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Wild.
What they want to do in this universe for some reason, and this trick they keep pulling, or people want them to pull, is like, it's Batfleck, but then it's Bat Keaton. And you're like, but how does me pushing my mom out of the way of a gun go like, now you're
Turns
Michael
into a
Keaton?
different person. Because basically
Yeah.
in the Flashpoint paradox in this second universe, instead of Thomas Wayne dying, Bruce Wayne dies in
Yes.
that pivotal event. He gets shot. So the parents both live, but they both go crazy in different ways. So the dad becomes Batman and the mom becomes Joker because she goes insane from her son dying.
And it's awesome. And
Yeah.
people
Wow.
are obsessed with this comic for some reason, Mike. I don't understand it. The Flash has a million great comics and maybe the second best rogues gallery in DC after Batman. And instead people are like, but what if he's always just running around fucking time up? And you're like,
And
I
that's
don't
kinda-
know.
Yeah, that's some of the
They're
problems the
obsessed
show
with it,
ran
okay.
into,
Yeah.
where they kept doing different time stuff, and the show was very hit or miss at the end. But it is sort of a perfect movie to do a soft reboot on the whole universe, which is what
Yeah.
they're doing with James Gunn. So it kind of works as a transitional
So
movie.
weird.
So I guess we'll see. But Michael
Yeah.
Keaton in a Batman suit, that's what the people want to see.
Batman, Birdman, Vulture, Keaton.
That's right. He loves flying superhero characters.
Yeah.
He loves showing
winged-
this much of his mouth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez. Well, we'll see if that's any good.
But yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of trailers. I mean, I'm Indiana Jones. Can we capture the magic? Where's
Jones.
Mutt? Damn it! Where's Mutt?
Where's
How
Mutt?
dare you?
Where's
There
Shia?
better be an in-universe explanation for where your son went.
Just
That's
like a
all
voice
I'm
message.
saying.
Hey, I'm in Bermuda looking for the thing, Dad. Good luck. That's all we need. One line.
And don't pay Shia. Pay anybody else. I don't care.
Just take
Sure.
what I
Ezra
said and
Miller.
put it in the movie.
Yeah.
No, don't pay them. Pay
Ezra
me.
Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had, Indiana Jones. I want to talk about Fast X just for a second.
Okay.
Did you guys catch this Fast X trailer at all?
It was
Well,
too quick.
hold on, real
I missed
quick.
it.
It was too quick. The Super Bowl spot was a minute. Now
Yes.
let's say
There's a
This
longer
is-
trailer that came out a few days ago.
This is called what is this film called, Jacob? It is called
Fast X, right?
it's just called Fast X. I believe
Yeah.
it might be Fast X Part 1.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, no.
and it released a 4-minute long trailer that is just a lot of characters
Insane.
going like, life,
Family.
love, like just like
But
general
it's like the
nebulous
Fast and Furious
concepts.
All Stars because it's like
It-
every
oh my
character
God.
in that universe except The Rock because he doesn't get along with Vin Diesel. But you
Mhm.
got
You're
Jason
out.
Statham coming back. Obviously, you got Han. He's alive now. You got Jason Momoa as the charismatic villain in this one. You
Who
got
it is
John Cena coming
retconned
back.
to be a driver from the 5th film from the
Yes.
botched Rio de
He's
Janeiro
safe.
heights.
Remember when they had the giant safe that they were towing on the back of
Yeah.
the car and everything?
Great sequence.
Turns out he was involved with that. He's got this whole blood feud against Vin Diesel.
What does that mean? It turns out he was involved with that. What? In what way? And what does it matter? What?
Yeah.
Jacob, what would any of it matter? I ask you.
But he looks like he's having a good time playing the villain.
Yes.
You got Brie Larson in there. Who knows what she's doing? You got John Cena coming back. Jason Statham, like I said.
Charlize
Helen
Theron?
Mirren. Maybe Charlize. I don't even know she was in the
I see it
trailer.
on
Here's the-
Wikipedia. It says she's in it.
She had a
It's an
different
all-star
haircut.
cast.
You could tell in the movie. Now,
Nice.
here's the thing. We all saw the 9th one, right? Because we did it on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Guys,
That's the one with John Cena.
I have not stopped thinking about the line recently. It's
Jacob
not just because
Toretto.
my dad is rewatching this. Jacob Toretto, Jesus.
With a K.
That's his
Where
name.
the other guy is talking to Charlize in that movie before Jacob Toretto breaks her back out, where she says, "What Star Wars character do you think you are?" And he says, like, "I'm Obi-Wan or something." She says, "No, you're Yoda." And he says, "'Cause I'm so wise." And she says, "'Cause you're a puppet."
Dang, yeah.
That's a good
I
line.
still think about that line to this day.
Yeah.
And when you go, like, this series doesn't deserve any more thought, it does. It actually does, because it has 10 entries in it, not including a spinoff where The Rock tried to steal it and failed.
Yeah.
Damn,
I mean, it's the
he did
biggest
try to
movie
heist.
franchise other than maybe Avatar that's not based on something, right? It's just something that they made a movie,
It's
but it's not based on source
Just
material. You know, it's just
people
a bunch of
stealing
people.
cars.
Yeah.
And can I
Yeah.
say something, Jacob? We said in Fast 9 that or in the 9 episode, that we would like to see a return to the street racing form. The end of this trailer
There's street
is
racing.
2 crews coming together. I think it might be the last scene of the movie. And Jason Momoa going like, "You know how we got to settle this." And it truly seems
Yeah.
like they're going to do an old school style street race. I could not
Race
be.
with the pinks.
I'm going to be there cheering.
Oh, man. If we get back
I want
to
to
it.
see it. I mean,
Yes.
it's like it's just everything you could want in a Fast and Furious movie all crammed into one movie. It's going to be insane.
Well, remember when we talked about Fast 9, we described the third act as 2 cars fighting a semi. They're not they're fighting it. They're fighting the big semi with 2 other cars. It's wild. So yeah, we'll see what they do this time. At this point, they already went to space, so yeah, I'll be there.
Seems like
Top that.
one of their cars fights a helicopter in this. It seems like Vin fights, so that looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Would you
Man.
believe Jason Momoa is also a really good car driver in this?
Well, you know, you can't hang with the Torettos if you're not. If I was ambitious in my life and had made more money, I would have bought the Toretto house as a meme and lived there. And then they would have just rented it out every couple of years. They'd show up, put me in a hotel, and then I'd just have barbecues with all
the
my
Corona
friends.
you could drink, Mike.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well,
Wow.
if that's where we're at for movies, TV, watches, I think
Yeah.
there's a good segue with driving cars good that I want to get on the video game side of
Ooh.
things right after this.
We're back. We're downloading here on Normies Like Us
That's
to
right.
a WHATCHA episode, and we're going to jump now and kind of talk about WHATCHA, as in what we have been playing.
Yes. We just had the Fast and Furious. They're driving cars. I'm driving cars too. Jacob's driving cars a little bit sometimes too. I just want to briefly mention that friend of the show, Adam, has gotten me into Rocket League, and I play
Wow.
car soccer now.
Car
And,
soccer.
Wow.
you know, so I'm learning
Rocket
to,
League.
yeah, just training for my big heist. You know, if I can push that ball around with rocket jets, I'm pretty sure Toretto would let me in the crew when he needs to steal a safe or attack a helicopter with it. So that's all we're training for. But I am hooked on it, and I get extremely frustrated. I take it too seriously, I think, but I'm absolutely addicted to the Rocket League. Jacob, maybe less, but what's your take on the Rocket League in this last couple of weeks?
I've played a little Rocket League with you and Adam, and there's a couple new multiplayer games that I've gotten into that I'll talk about. But because we've played Halo so much, and I'm looking for a new game that I can kind of play casually with my friends, and Rocket
Yes.
League is a really great game for that. I mean, obviously it has a really high skill ceiling if you want to play like a pro or play at an advanced level. Me, I'm not that good. I mean, I try, but I know I'm not going to put in the work to like get to that level. So I just do the best I can. But it is a
Mhm.
lot of fun. It is very addicting to like, you wouldn't think, basically you're like three little RC cars versus another three cars. And there's a giant ball, and you're trying to hit the ball into your goal like soccer, but with cars.
It
And
sounds simple on paper, but no, it's got strategy and
yeah,
yeah.
and because you use your boost, you can do aerials and different things. You can ride on the walls or the ceilings. It's pretty zany. It's very fast paced, a lot of fun, and like you said, very addicting.
And free to play, they give you unlocks. We were playing Halo, but Halo gives you nothing. It's a drip feed of like, here's the
Yeah,
color purple for one thing, and then 6 months
Great.
till anything. So yeah, it's been bad. So this game, yeah, you get a lot of unlocks for your car. You can customize all your stuff, because it's a free to play game. So they have a battle pass, but they give you a bunch of customization options so you can make your car look cool. Like they give you little drip feeds of dopamine. You just unlocked a thing, and it's free. It's a wholesome. So I like it. I haven't paid any money for either of those games, but yeah, Rocket League's a new thing. We won a tournament with, so there you go.
Oh, I'm proud of you guys. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But that's my Rocket League spiel. Jacob, what have
yeah,
you gotten into? It also
yeah.
involves
Rocket
driving
League is
a
fun.
vehicle in the air.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm looking. Halo Infinite. We've played a lot of that over the past year and a half. It's a good game to play with your friends, but it's sort of a dying game. A
Hmm.
lot of the people involved with the
Sad.
creation of that game are no longer even working at 343. So
Yep.
knowing that it's sort of a dying game, knowing that it barely has anyone playing it at this point, I'm sort of consciously looking to a different game that I can kind of pivot to as my casual multiplayer game with friends. And Rocket League is one of those games. But another game which I also started playing at around the same time, maybe you've heard of it, is called Fortnite.
Oh my God.
Never
Uh,
heard of it.
yeah, it's this little game called Fortnite. Normies, go back maybe a year and listen to our Fortnite episode that was our friend Joe's choice.
We
We
did
were,
do one. You're 100% right. I
Yep.
forgot
yes,
about that.
where Joe was really pushing the Fortnite. He said it's really fun. I was
Game of the
skeptical at the
future.
time,
No.
uh, but you know what? It turns out he was right. Because here's
Dang.
the thing: Rocket League is fun for me. Not as fun. It's not as addicting for me as maybe it is for you.
Hmm.
Because I just want that ability to shoot someone. I
You
got
like
to
to
be
murder
shooting people.
people.
I like
Yeah.
to
You
murder
guys,
people.
Mike's, you ended up on the Rogue Squadron side. You guys do these team
We
up
like
multiplayer
vehicle-based
games,
games.
but
Yeah, and
you
I
can
do
kind of
speed
see the
running.
distinction. Yeah.
So I like dumb mechanics. Like I like having to learn
Yes.
how to move the car good. Like that's
It's a great
attractive
way
to
to
me.
put it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
cars had guns on it, so you
Jacob,
could blow up the other cars, which you can
You want to
demolish.
shoot.
yes, but Jacob, kind of more the gratification of
Yes.
like a quick timed match where you're doing the objective of what you set out to do. I like that.
And the idea of going up against your fellow humans, mano a mano or womano,
I like
with
that.
guns, and just outlasting your opponent and killing them and being the better one. It's like a direct competition with other people.
Have you hit a
And
royale?
I've hit a couple, yeah.
Nice.
But
Ooh.
I've been playing, and it's fun to play with friends. So like we've been playing with Adam Rocket League. I play with Adam in Fortnite too. He plays a little Fortnite, and the other people I've been playing with is Joe and our friend Matt, who I hear
Amazing.
is a big fan of Normies Like Us. If he's listening
What
right
up? What
now,
up?
shout out to
Oh,
Matt.
shout out to Matt. Yeah.
We just played a little bit a couple days ago, and it was like, they have like a family chat that they all kind of get on and play a little Fortnite. And I got on with them over the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. I was having a
Amazing.
blast. Basically, they're like, "Stick with us. We'll show you how we do things." We like to
The fuck?
we like to do this thing called dumping dogs, and that's when you drop into a heavily contested area at the beginning. The other players are the dogs, and we dump them. If you know what I'm saying, we're putting down these dogs left and right. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs to be had.
You putting
Uh,
these dogs down? You dumping these
Dumping
dogs,
them.
dude?
That's
Yep.
right. That's right. We're dumping
Jeez.
dogs, and And like Rocket League, it's got that drip feed of unlockables.
But
Yeah, so many
here's the
battle
thing,
skins.
pass.
Jacob.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of Overwatch. That's kind of the only bit of this world that I've dabbled in, guys. A little bit of the Evil Dead game too, right? Where it's the team collaborative, blah blah blah. You're paid off for playing and shit. The bit of Fortnite that I've done, Jacob, I think their battle pass system by far the best. They just have it completely figured out. The rewards, the progress you're heading towards, all that good stuff. I love that about Fortnite, and I wish more games would adapt it.
Yeah, and the whole skin system they have where, there's a lot of things that you can buy, but also the battle pass does give you a lot of things for free, to where you could just, even if you don't buy the battle pass, which is like $8,
it all sucks.
You can get certain free things from the battle pass without ever paying anything, or you can pay the $8, get a whole bunch of free stuff from the battle pass. But like when I was playing with Joe, like he was just going through all his different skins that he's had. Like I don't have that many cool skins yet, but he's got like, he was like, now I'm Luke Skywalker, now I'm Indiana Jones, now I'm Boba Fett, now I'm Spider-Man, now I'm Batman. It's just like
John Wick.
It's Ready
Master
Player
Chief.
One, right? We talked about it's got all the different IPs.
Yes.
You can go around. They've got Dragon Ball in the game right now. You can Kamehameha people, like this really powerful thing you can pick up.
Right.
Just blast people.
Pick up lightsabers. Pick up the Boku no Hero Academia stuff. Like
That's
Right.
Ryan
Hero Academia
Campbell
stuff. Yep.
is always saying like exactly what you said, Jacob. It's turning into Ready Player One. They found a way to insert so many, let alone game modes, but just games, pop culture, everything else into this game that it does make it super appealing to outsiders, I think.
It's a lot of fun. It's very silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously. You're just running around with guns, shooting. You'll shoot a guy in a banana suit, then you'll shoot Spider-Man, then you'll shoot an anime character. You're blasting people. You're picking up different things. There's a lot to do. You can talk to NPCs in the world and like do different quests that give you XP, and then you get more stuff. I have bought a skin now. My first skin that I bought because it was they kind of change. They rotate the store like every 24 hours for different skins from the past that you have the chance to buy. When I saw this in the store, I was like, I need to buy this. The LeBron James Space Jam skin. So I've got LeBron in his Space Jam Toon Squad jersey running around.
With a gun?
With
oh
a
my
gun.
god.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's incredible. Geralt, The Witcher, I've got him now. So yeah, I'm rocking. Yeah, it's, you know what? I was skeptical for a long time, and I was like, man, I want my Halo. Halo's got the best gameplay when it comes to shooting. I still think that, but battle royales, whatever you think about them, they're good to kind of casually jump on, play a game or two, do whatever you want, and that's why I think it's lasted so long, why it's endured and is still so popular, because it's just fun to play. It's fun to play with friends,
And the fact that they had a family Discord to play Fortnite, like it's something very wholesome about that vibe.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, when we were playing Halo the other night, Mike and I with our friends, and we were playing super sweaty ranked matches, where you're just like intensely focusing the entire time.
Yeah.
With a battle royale, you're just kind of vibing, you're hanging out, you're traveling around, picking stuff up. Sometimes you'll get into gunfights, driving around on motorcycles and stuff and cars, and like you can just do so much in the game that there's not just shooting and like super sweaty,
I don't
Call of Duty type stuff.
Yeah, I don't have to order my heart attack medicine if I'm playing Fortnite. I can just play it and have fun. Yeah.
So, you know what? It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that casual gaming. So I'm a Fortnite convert now, I would say.
I can't believe it.
Well, how about you, Colin? What have you been playing now?
Well, I love hearing what you guys are up to. I wish I had one of these cool multiplayer. I'm going to spend my little chunk here just talking about a system to say, like, this is how I do most of my gaming. You guys know I'm a Switch boy. I'm a little Nintendo kid. I'm a Nintendo dog. Woof, woof.
Don't dump him.
Don't dump. Hey,
you better watch out.
Please do not dump me.
Dog I dump.
Dump me like a dog.
Not on Valentine's Day. Don't dump that dog.
Please don't dump this dog.
Okay.
So I finally finished Pokemon and that I got the decks done, quote unquote. It took me forever. Thank you. Shout out to our buddy X who traded me a ton of stuff. And then I asked him if he had his legendary still. He didn't. He traded it to our friend Adam. Shout out. Instead, I had to wait for my brother to kind of get his done, get me his, and then we kind of finished his too.
Cleared it
All
out.
to say a long process. Now I'm like, it gets you the shiny badge or whatever, so you can shiny hunt easier.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how much longer it's going to keep me because it's still glitching, it's still buggy. I have Fire Emblem Engage, the new big game. You know I love a tactics game.
Yeah.
My big complaint, Mike, the older that we're getting, is that like I don't want to spend 30 minutes doing one mission. I lose, and then I have to restart it because it's like I gotta go to bed soon. I'm a fucking adult. Like I can't. It's just I cannot waste my time doing that. Right?
Time is valuable. Yeah.
And my other big one is another recommendation from Get Played is that I finally picked up Persona 5 Royale for the Switch. And I'm like, Mike, I keep all three of those cartridges, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, and Persona, in my little travel bag. And I go like, these are the ones I'm going to stay focused on. I haven't really had to like multi-game like this in a while. But a JRPG, again, at this age, another big time commitment. So I've literally not inserted it yet because I want to be like, I want the 2 hours to sit down to get immersed so that I know that I'm going to want to keep doing it, you know?
Yes. That opening session is critical for any RPG, especially Persona, and get you used to the world and the systems. You know, you want to be able to do that. And it's a long one. I think I hadn't beaten 5 yet, but I'm at like 180 hours, and I'm still not done. So buckle up.
I heard it's a big game.
I can't imagine.
Royale is even bigger than the version that I have. I have the original. But no,
I do like the sorry.
No,
the idea of Persona where it's sort of a school thing and you have a certain period of time every day where you can do things. And so you can't get everything done every day. You kind of have to pick and choose what you're focusing on, relationships or dungeon crawling or whatever.
Do you hang out with your friends? Do you do your homework?
I like that school simulator vibe of it all for sure.
Yeah. So do I. Again, it can feel very out of body to play a game like that in the limited free time you have as an adult, which is my big worry.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like, all three of those games that I just said are huge games that are going to have minor performance issues on the Switch. And we just had a huge Nintendo Direct, which is what they call their little video feeds of drip drop information. Here's this, here's that. And guys, we are close on the next Breath of the Wild, the big game for the Switch.
Yeah.
That's right.
I just want to say to you guys, like, don't you think we should be moving on by this point? Don't you think we should have some more power, some higher frames per second, some 4K, some am I trapped in an abusive relationship is what I want to ask you guys.
That's not what Nintendo's all about.
Nintendo,
yeah.
It depends. They do abuse by not putting anything on the eShop and making you buy games 6 times for every console. But
Mike, the Metroid remake that is blowing up game rankings now,
good.
where I'm like, you fools, it looks amazing. They are making you pay $60 again. Please continue.
That's their favorite thing. I think Nintendo Switch, in a world where now the Steam Deck is such a thing, right? And it's like, now you have competitors with this handheld thing, and they're getting higher frames. So what do you do? The
technical limitations of the Switch are like
it keeps costs down.
Definitely more noticeable with the Steam Deck.
Pokemon was broken, Jacob. It was broken.
Yeah.
That's maybe on the dev side too.
Yes.
But yeah, I wonder. I know they made a bigger screen and there's an OLED Switch and stuff, but I don't think they've ramped up the hardware at all. And what do they switch to? Yeah, I don't know what the roadmap is for their next console offering. Because they live in that weird world. Oh, sorry. Japan is mobile gaming is a different culture there because you're riding trains and stuff. So they're occupying this space where, like in the West, it's like, yeah, I can take it with me, but like. Most people are playing at home or sitting in bed, but the idea of a portable console, like that's very much in the forefront of Nintendo's mind. So do they make it more powerful? They still need to occupy that at home and on the go space, I just don't know what their next evolution is for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it given their past branding, it will be called the new Nintendo Switch, and people will be like, "That is confusing." They're like, "No, it's a different product."
It's weird to think about. Obviously, the Wii was a really well-selling console, Then they had the Wii U, which was a huge failure, but it was sort of the beginnings of what they wanted to do with the Switch.
Yeah.
But
It was a halfway
it's sort of
step.
halfway between a Wii and a Switch, but it for some reason didn't sell at all. It was a huge bomb. And then the Switch came out and it was another huge hit.
And they got stuck in the DS, the 3DS, the 2DS, the new Nintendo 3DS world. Those were all 4 different consoles, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild era. But I think they're trying to merge the two ideas with the Switch. Like, people still have their DSs and stuff, but I think it's a Switch world now.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of.
We should just say it has just sold more units than the PS2. The PS2 was sold as a DVD player. People bought it for hardware reasons as well. That is an impressive feat by Nintendo.
Well,
I mean, I never thought it'd be dethroned.
A selling point of the Switch is that it's a console. It's also a Game Boy. You know, it's kind of either one. It's whatever you want it to be. The flexibility of it makes it easier for people who don't. They don't want to spend hundreds, like $600 on a PS5 when you can get a Switch for like $200 or $300.
How much is a Steam Deck? Because I am a handheld guy. That's like a $500 thing. Okay, yeah, interesting.
But
is that something you can just get? Is that at a point of availability, Jacob? I don't think so.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, it might take like a month or something to ship to you, but you can purchase it and then wait for it to be shipped. Okay. And I know people that have that and enjoy it a lot because you can play so many different PC games on it that you wouldn't think would run well, but do. And like you said, technically, it kind of blows the Switch out of the water.
It's $529 for 256 gigabytes. So it's
a higher price
$650 for more storage. The storage is what entry level $400, but
you're paying $250 for a fucking multicolored piece of plastic from Nintendo that you can't hook up to your TV. That's just the Game Boy version.
But isn't that what the Nintendo fanboys like? Is having all the weird proprietary hardware and stuff that Nintendo has.
I like the games. I want to play Metroid Prime. I want to play a new Zelda. I love the Fire Emblem series. I love Pokemon. But I am stuck in this world where I know that they could be made better.
Yeah. There's something with there. They want to keep the cost of the unit down so they can charge you the third time for Super Mario Brothers 3. That's how they make their hay.
God damn you. Stop.
I'm sorry. I'm stopping.
Very sick. And now they just announced we've got through the online play, quote unquote, you can do, Jacob, for the version we have, Game Boy games. I believe for the version Cole has, he pays for the expansion pack, Game Boy Advanced games. That's appealing to me in that you're,
like
again, like Mike's saying, making me pay for stuff that I could have played on an emulator.
Or you might already own it.
Because I owned it, yes. Because
let's say there's free emulators that you can get.
Well, if you own the game, like that's the thing. You could put emulators on a Steam Deck, I'm sure. And if you own the games, it's totally legal. It's your backup archive copy of a game you own. So if you have a library of those, it's easier to emulate them than get them on Nintendo's eShop, which is insane. It's insane to me that they don't just put them, every single game that's ever been released on Nintendo, put it up there. What is wrong with you putting like 10 games at a time? Anyway.
I guarantee I could download Pokemon on the Steam Deck. Let me just say this real quick. Tax returns just came out, and I just got a Steam Deck's worth of a tax return. So in the future on this podcast, you might start hearing me talk about the Steam Deck. You guys might have just convinced me. So
wow.
From a Pokédex to a Steam Deck,
That's my gaming world. I'm trapped, guys. I don't know what to do.
Breath of the Wild's going to be great. I mean, there's advantages to that. You can still play Dark Souls anywhere you go.
It's going to be what it was last time, which was one of my best gaming experiences ever. I loved it, but it needs to change, Mike. It needs to grow.
Yeah. They're slow to embrace change, unfortunately. I'm cheering for you, though.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up sort of my gaming corner, I'm a little ADD, so I have like 5 or 6 games in rotation that I kind of play on a rotational basis. But while I'm playing these casual games, Fortnite and Rocket League and Halo, I like to sometimes play single player games. And generally what I do is I'll wait for a big Steam sale, like their holiday sale, and then I have a wish list with like over 100 games on it. And then I just look to see what's on sale at a good price and buy some older games. And one of the games that I bought this holiday season and have been playing a little bit of, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mecha Giraffe. How is that?
Back at your
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's sort of it's a post-apocalyptic world in which there are giant machine animals walking around, and you have to fight them. And yeah, it's a standard sort of open world RPG. Do stuff, collect stuff on the map. Clear bandit camps, do side quests, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
The story is not amazing. It's fine. The graphics look really good, especially for a game that came out a couple years ago. And I know the sequel, Forbidden West, I know the graphics on that are like amazing with ray
Mm-hmm.
tracing and 4K and everything. I'd like to play that, but I don't have a PS5, so I have to kind of wait until there's a PC version, which I don't think exists yet.
Right.
But we'll get to that soon because I do like this game. I like the mechanics of it. The actual hunting of the machines is a lot of fun. You have different weapons at your disposal, and they have different weaknesses. Like some are weak to fire, weak to shock or ice or
Right.
whatever.
some good stealth elements, right? Kind of into the hunting.
Yeah, you can do stealth. You can kind of come at it different ways. It's kind of what I would think that Monster Hunter is like. Having never played
Sure.
Monster Hunter, it's probably like a less detailed version of Monster Hunter, where you're just hunting these giant robot monsters, and that's probably the best part of the game. Like I said, the story is nothing special. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's a good game.
Yeah, the enemy design and kind of the combat mechanics are enough to like kind of keep you hooked. You're saying kind of the
Yeah.
way.
And there's sort of a mystery of like, why are these machines here? What's going on? That kind of becomes clear over the story, and it's nothing too mind blowing or anything, but it's an enjoyable kind of sci-fi story.
It's got to be better than After Earth,
That's right.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. I've been playing some other games, like another game called Greedfall, which I just started playing, which is another sort of open world RPG. That was like a AA release. It's kind of sort of Skyrim meets Dragon Age type of gameplay, but it's sort of set in this like pirate world where there's like ships
What?
and stuff. Yeah,
Sounds awesome.
It's okay. Like I said, it's almost like a BioWare, like a Mass Effect or Dragon Age, like I said, type game where you have companions and you do different quests and you go around the world. It's somewhat limited in some ways because it is a AA rather than a AAA game, and you can tell like there's definitely didn't have the budget of a AAA game, but it's been enjoyable so far. So I've been playing those games, having a lot of fun. Been playing Fortnite and looking forward to playing again with the Astas. And shout out to Joe and Cassie and Matt and Manette. And Manette was also playing too. I wanted to mention that, and I think they had a friend on their line too. I didn't catch her name, but shout out to all you guys, and hopefully
Damn, the
play
Fortnite crew.
Yeah,
Fortnite
there's a
again.
whole squad.
We're gonna get Adam in
the
there next
fuck?
time. We'll have a 4 squad, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna have to put the Fortnite
dump some
song
dogs.
on this break between the final thoughts.
Oh
in this
hell yeah,
section.
dude!
Yeah.
Chug Jug with you.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. We're putting Chug Jug with
Classic.
you once we get out of here. I guess
Anyways,
that's it. Yeah,
That's what I've been playing.
That's what I've been playing.
Of course, Halo we'll still dabble in that a little
Right,
bit.
you've been saying it's a dying game, and I know it's a dying game, and I feel that I just want to give it one more good day.
I still love the
Yeah.
core gameplay loop of it all.
Yeah,
And sometimes that 4-on-4 competitive, it does hit right where you're just having good teamwork. Mike's making the call outs. He's kind of our team communicator.
the Donatello,
Amazing.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd.
and it's a lot of fun sometimes. But sometimes it can also be very, very frustrating and makes me very angry, and then I rage.
And then we go dump dogs. You feel
That's
better.
right.
Then we
That's right.
dump dogs. I guess probably the big video game release right now, not to keep this episode non-evergreen, but is that Harry Potter game. Listeners, we're not necessarily morally grandstanding against it as much as none of us are just interested in the price that much, but I've been
Right.
watching some videos on it. Potentially we'll talk about that at some point. Again, no big promises here.
Yeah. I've been watching some, views from all sides, some trans creators on
Yeah.
YouTube kind of discussing it, this and that. One thing they suggested is maybe while you're deciding whatever, just support some games that are made by trans creators. And one that they suggested was the Bloodborne D-Make, the PS1 Bloodborne D-Make.
Ooh.
Like, it's free.
Interesting.
And just check out the Bloodborne PlayStation
What
D-Make.
can you play that on?
Yeah.
Computer. It's on PC, but it has graphics like a
Probably on
PS1.
Steam.
That's
So
cool, yeah.
go look that up. I'll put a link
And
in the
listen
description of this
to
episode.
listen to our old Harry Potter episodes where we shouted out a lot of trans charities and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, support some of those as well if you're looking for something good to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
My
later
opinion on
on.
that game. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, it's a big conversation. It's an ongoing conversation, and
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know,
I was just
We're
gonna
It
say,
all
we-
sucks.
yeah, my opinion on the game outside of the, discourse surrounding it, just as a game, it looks mildly interesting to me. But it's again like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's the game I'll wait to be on a Steam sale in 9 months, and I'll get it for $40 instead of $70 or something.
And much like Cyberpunk, you'll tell Mike and I about it, and we'll play it a month after you and get very into it.
yeah, potentially.
It looks
Maybe
okay.
a year
It looks
later.
like
Yeah, a
your
year
typical open world RPG. The combat looks kind of not that great to me compared to like something like Elden Ring, where you have way more custom ability. But I'll give it a try for sure.
I watched a girl fight a boss on Twitch, and it was pretty Dark Soulsy, dude. I gotta say, I was pretty into it.
Got a
All
dodge
I
roll in
know,
there.
there's like
a lot of dodge roll.
there's like 60 something spells in this one, and then Elden
Oh,
Ring has
shit.
but Elden Ring has over like 200 some odd. So I think the Raya
Yeah.
Lucaria,
Yeah.
Academy of Magic is better than Hogwarts. So I
I've
might
seen-
just not play it at all.
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay of it. It's kind of
It's the lesser
you have your
college.
basic attack where you shoot this basic spell, and then you have your stronger spells that are kind of have like a cooldown. So it's kind of
Yeah.
about managing your cooldowns, and it looks a lot like the Arkham combat where you're like hit,
Yes.
parry, hit, parry kind of thing.
And Jacob, I'll even say into walking into little places where the exits and entrances seal, and a bad guy jumps out and goes, "Oi, what are you doing here?" And a brawl starts, which
Sure.
was every Batman sequence. So,
Sure.
yeah, totally.
I think
Right.
the big selling point of the game is just the detailed Hogwarts, so you can walk around.
And
Just the size
dressing
of the
up
game.
and getting. Mike said there's side quests based on which fucking house you're in. Like
Houses
that gets
have
me
different
going
quests.
great. Like that makes me fucking hard. Dog.
Yeah, what do the
Yeah.
I don't even know
Slytherins
how
do?
to say it. Like
Bully?
that just gets me there.
Yeah,
Go bully
and
one
it's-
Hufflepuff. It's the first Slytherin quest. Just go
And
bully
I know
somebody.
it's apparently a huge game that has hundreds of hours of sort of
love it.
side quests and stuff. One thing you can't do in the game is play Quidditch, which is kind of surprising that they're just like, no
Oh.
Quidditch, but you can fly around on a broom.
I saw some good broom flying footage that looked good. That shocks me that you can't play. I wonder if that'll be the first DLC. You would have to assume would be Quidditch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
thinking back, Harry Potter video games, I think we talked about it before. I had that Chamber of Secrets game on GameCube.
I had every single one of them. They're all good. Jacob had the Quidditch,
the Quidditch
tournament
game.
on
Yeah.
GameCube.
Oh,
Yes,
God,
which
yeah.
is
It was very
insane
strange.
to me.
the
Yeah,
Harry Potter equivalent of pod racing game. On
Yeah.
That's
64.
episode 1 racer, Mike.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
sport
The
that
Quidditch
makes
game
no
is that.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah,
God.
we'll see where that is. Again, big questions with whatever. Everyone has to make their own moral
Yeah,
decision.
but
I'm not
FJK
gonna
Rowling-
right now. I'm not getting it personally, but everybody live your life. And if
Fuck
I
you,
can't
JK.
support this one, fuck J.K. Rowling. If I can't support this one, maybe I can at least play Fortnite when they give me a Harry Potter wizard in that,
Hell
and then she
yeah.
will not
Yeah,
benefit
yeah,
from it.
running around with a rocket launcher. While he
Yeah.
shoots
I'm getting
Luke
the Ezra Miller
Skywalker.
skin. Yeah,
I want to
nothing
be
problematic there.
I want to be Neville Longbottom with a gun. Then I'll play Fortnite. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, let's chug jog on out of here, guys. I think this has been a good old Watcha. We'll catch you
Just
on the other
touchdown
side.
in Tomato Town.
There we go.
What's your name? Your favorite Fortnite location?
Dusty Divot.
Dusty Divot.
Well, the new map, it's a totally different map now, so they have different names.
The structure, which is the rock, blew up the island, and then Brie Larson had to reform it by recapturing the soul of the pinata or something like that. Yes, obviously I'm caught up on the lore of
Yeah,
Fortnite.
that makes
Obviously.
sense. Well,
Yeah.
also the Thor of Fortnite, they have to keep that one area that was in Avengers until like 2025 because that's when the movie was set or whatever. So there's
Yes.
one zone that has to always be in Fortnite until that point,
That's
the
funny.
worst.
like legally. But yeah, we're here. We're back. We're wrapping it up on the
Still
Watcha.
talking Fortnite.
Yeah,
Still
just-
talking Fortnite.
Welcome to Talking Fortnite. It's been
Very
a
excited to
fortnight.
see what skins Jacob's running around in, if he's going to do a little dance or whatever. What's your melee weapon? Right? Just the
Oh, you
pickaxe?
just have so many. I got the Doomslayer, like Doomslayer from Doom is in the battle pass, so I have the Doomslayer
Wild.
skin and have his like specific
Chainsaw?
sword. It's like a
Oh,
red,
okay.
like
The red
laser
sword, the
sword.
crucible.
Oh, from the new
yeah,
one,
the
of
crucible.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God damn, that's so fucking cool.
And it's shot
Jesus
children's game.
Christ.
just doing the different
Yes.
dances. You stand around in the pregame lobby, and everyone shows off their dance moves and stuff.
Yeah,
You know, just a good time.
incredible,
God damn
incredibly
it.
wholesome. It is Ready Player One.
Yeah, it
Wow.
really is.
Well, maybe I'll give it a try. It is free, you know.
It's
What-
free.
what-
Yeah,
You don't have to
that's-
spend a single dollar on it if you don't want to, and you'll get probably more free stuff than Halo.
Mhm.
You know, gonna have to get on. You got to dump some dogs with us sometime.
Maybe. Right now, I got to
I don't
drive
want to.
my soccer car. But yeah, the watches. You know, we covered a lot of stuff. I mean,
That's what we're watching.
we did the top 10 at the beginning of the year too, which kind of served as like a little recap of other things. And yeah, a lot of stuff coming up in the future though. We're getting Ant-Man soon. We're getting, you know, a lot of big releases that we're going to be covering. So be
Yeah.
sure to stay tuned, everybody.
We'll
Yeah, I
talk
didn't have
about
too
DC
many
stuff.
new movies, or I had, 2 shows, but so much of what I've been watching recently is stuff that we've covered in past weeks, like Wakanda Forever and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And our top 10
Mhm.
movies, so I saw a bunch of movies for that. But lately, I haven't seen any new releases. So
No,
Yeah,
but Mario's
I'm trying
coming.
to. Yes,
Mario.
I am trying to stave off some sort of depression that's coming on where literally I'll have a Marvel movie in my queue that I can watch and I will like put it off and then hate it like we did with Wakanda. And
Yeah.
Mike, I am praying 2 Italian plumbers named the Super Mario Brothers
Mm-hmm.
pull me out of that depression, because every time I told you guys I've cried twice watching that first trailer. I don't know why. Something's broken
Yeah.
in me. It makes me so happy.
I mean, I love the
think
90s cartoon intro that they, put the music out to.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think a lot of people are gonna have that reaction to this movie, and I didn't kind of expect it, but
No.
I'm pretty psyched. Yeah.
Why
From
did
the
they have to take the
Minions.
throne from Sonic? Why did they have to take his throne?
Sorry, Sonic.
They're
you had a
coming
couple-
for it.
Couple good years.
They best not
Sonic's doing
miss.
fine. We talk about him too much on this podcast. He's doing okay.
Well,
You know,
no one
you-
played Sonic Frontiers, right? We didn't
Yes,
talk
the
about that.
weird open world game where he teams up with Aloy, I believe, from Horizon. So
That's-
crazy.
That's wild.
It seems
I
like
don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for John Wick 4. I didn't mention I watched the John Wick trilogy on Paramount Plus.
I think Joe just did too. All my
Yeah.
friends are watching John Wick again. Should
Getting
I
ready
rewatch
for
all the
John
John
Wick
Wick
4.
movies?
Yeah, I think
Gotta
that
get
comes out
ready.
in March. So,
Okay.
yep, excited to talk about some of the big releases this
Scream
year.
6 comes out in March.
Yeah, yeah.
We've obviously
Gotta
done a
watch
Scream
Scream 5.
episode. We adore those. Wednesday. Shout out.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah, there's going to be some good stuff in there. There's always Star Trek. And shout out to everybody who listened to our Generations episode. That episode actually did really well. So, hey, fellow Trekkies,
Nice.
thanks for that.
Now,
Yeah.
why would that have been? What's wrong with
Lot
all
of-
of you?
It's just a great conversation of
Yeah, a lot
Shatner
of
and
Malcolm
Picard.
McDowell fans out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know we'll be talking another one soon enough. So get
Sorry.
ready.
All right, February is a short month. Get ready, first contact.
May you live long and prosper. Yeah.
That's right.
We're going to meet
Okay.
the Borg here so soon.
You heard about the bog? This is the last anecdote. It's the Zoomers make a bog. Do you know what a bog is?
Like
it's
a
for
swamp?
parties. It's called a blackout gallon, and it's just a bunch of weird liquor and Powerade poured into a gallon jug. And that's
Oh,
what
we
a
used to call
bog
that
is.
riot punch. Sure,
Nope,
jumbo
blackout
juice.
gallon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the bog standard. Anyway,
Classic.
don't drink those, okay, listeners. Be careful.
responsibly.
Drink responsibly, always. But listen to this and binge it and share with as many people as you can. Every episode of
Hell
Normies
yeah.
Like Us. We
That's
really
right.
appreciate
Don't
it.
yeah.
listen responsibly.
Like
No.
Mike said at the top of the episode, let us know what you're watching, what you're playing, what you're listening to, reading. Mike, shout out the book you wanted to shout out real quick.
Oh, yeah, I just finished Count Zero, and I'm halfway through Mona Lisa Overdrive. They're the other two
Okay.
books in the Neuromancer
Okay.
trilogy.
Cyberpunk.
We are
Mo-
worried. We are worried. It's
Mona
fine.
Lisa Overdrive's a great title.
Yes.
It's the next
It's
Mad
true.
Max. Anyway, yeah.
What were we talking about recently about body horror and stuff? Avatar, maybe?
Infinity
Where I was
Pool.
Cronenberg?
thinking about Cyberpunk? Maybe Infinity Pool.
Infinity
I
Pool
don't
by
know.
Me neither.
Brandon Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. Yeah, whatever.
Ooh. Movies.
Mia Goth.
I hate movies right now. Oh, I love Mia Goth. Wait, you're right. I'm back.
Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah,
Okay,
oh, no.
you guys are right. And I believe he gets jacked off in that movie. All right,
Oh.
we'll leave you on that one. Reach out, like Mike said, hit us up at Normies _like _us on all social media and watch those YouTube videos as well. But of course, like we said, rec stuff. Let us know whatever you're doing, but also whatever you want us to talk about on future episodes. We'll do that too.
Yep.
That's right. If you want another Fortnite episode, you got it.
Yeah.
Squad up, baby. The return
wanna-
of Joe. That's how we'll get him back. So
That's right. Oh,
until then,
we have to save him from the structure.
he's at the center of the Fortnite Earth.
Brie Larson.
Bust him out of that island, Jacob. But we have been your hosts. This is Colin.
This is Mike.
And this is Jacob.
Wow.
Wow.
Thanks, Normies. Thanks for
Bye.
Thanks, Normies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.